how to make a song with Splice. Kind of two parts to this video. One is like building a song from scratch using Splice, and two is like workflows with Splice. If you don't know what Splice is, it's just a huge database of sounds, primarily in the pop electronic music world. If you can try it for free for about 7 days, I think, and then you pay. On my plan, there's only like $8 a month, and that's more than enough sounds that I need with Splice. Here's what Splice looks like from the web browser. So I'm in Chrome here, and I use the web browser to find sounds, and then I use the Splice app to load them in. Splice is built around packs, so you have sounds that are inside of packs, and every pack has a name. Usually it's genre based. So this is bedroom pop and lo-fi hip hop. So if you're into that music, then you will like this pack. You can play a demo, which will give you like a song, a couple ideas of songs that are made with the sounds from this pack. So you can go back, search by genre, search by type of sound you're looking for. Sometimes there's packs just for drums or just for kicks or just for transitions. So search by pack and then you can dig into it. That's what I would recommend, especially if you want to build a song just by using Splice. It's much easier to go the pack route and like stick into one pack, not only because the sounds are going to be cohesive, but also they're all in the same genre, and usually the sounds are in the same tempo where you can just click and drag them in and then they work. Let's put this into practice now. Here's how I would start a song. So I'd get maybe one loop going so we can build something around. So you can filter here by loops and maybe go like guitar or keys, something like that. Let's try guitar. And you can see here already there's a bunch of samples in that 75-80 range. So. So I'm going to download this credit and I'm going to put that into Splice. But before I go, I'm just going to download a couple other things. So I have 75 BPM guitar loop. I can go and reset the instrument filter and then go over to drum loops, or I can pick specific kick and snare one shots. So you have loops and one shots, and that's all the only sounds available in Splice. We just downloaded a loop, but there's also one shots where that's like one kick. Here's a kick. And here's a hi-hat. There should be one in 75. Here's one. Just listen to a couple other ones. I really like that one, so I'm going to download that one. Now I have two samples to get a groove going. Here's where I'm going to go back into my DAW, or I use Logic. So I have the Splice app in my command in my application, so I can go Command Tab by going back to the browser. And I can also go Command Tab by going to Splice. That's super easy. So if I go Command Tab Splice, Command Tab back to Logic. And I like just that workflow that I can do with my left hand. And so whenever I download something from Chrome here, I go over to Logic, then I open Splice, and I have the sounds that I just downloaded right here. There they are, right at the top there. First of all, I should put my session at 75 and then drag these in. Drag this one in. And I can just, here's drums, here's the guitar. I'll just put them over here for now so you can see better, and I'll line them up to the cursor. Everything is perfectly in time because we've downloaded from the pack. Both are in 75 BPM and they're from the same pack, so they sound really perfectly together. So we can go back to the pack here, and now that we know we like that 75, let's just reset everything. Here's your BPM. Just go exact BPM 75, update it, and then you're going to get all the samples in 75. So we can put this piano in here. Oh, but keep in mind the actual key, right? So let's go back here we are in E minor. So 75 E minor. Now we can pitch that. That's in C major, this lo-fi piano. So that wouldn't work. We need a minor. So we could go to key and go minor. We could also go a level deeper and go E minor to get the exact tempo so we don't have to shift so many things. So that's the only instrument. The only thing in E minor is this guitar. Okay, so we can't do much past that. Let's take off E, and we might have to pitch some things. And let's say you want to mix these drums, right? Because everything's mix. Here we have hats, snare, and kick here. Unfortunately, you just can't. You cannot mix those. We can't separate these audio tracks. So, however, the sounds in this loop are in this pack. So we'd go back here. We'd go to one shots. Try to find that sound of the kick. So listen to it. Pretty fat kick filter. That sounds pretty nice. And try to listen to the snare. Kind of a fat snare, isn't it? So filter by snares. Have a listen. Could be that one. And then you had a hat. Could be a hat loop that we could just use. So we can go loops and then search by drums and then hats. There we go. So I might just use one of these. And we can pitch that or time stretch that by 5 BPM. It's only an 80. So then I go back to Logic. I'll open up a new drum machine designer. So software instrument, change it on the right here to down here to drum machine designer. Go back over to my Splice app. Here are the samples. I have my hi-hat loop. I'm going to put the snare in here and the kick in here. Just name those quickly. Always name your stuff. It's going to help you later. We'll put the cursor here, press E. And then we have our step sequencer and we have our kick snare here. So you can just have this muted. I used to do this when I first made beats off other things, was basically have this, your drum kit here, muted, while listening to this drum thing you're inspired by. Snare, kick, snare. So see, there was a kick there. Because right now this is totally muted. It's only playing the loop. All right, that's the loop. So we can listen to our own here, and it will be the same, and we'll put the hi-hat loop in at the bottom. Now this loop is different, so we'll have a different vibe, and we'll have to time stretch it to 75, holding down Option, dragging to the grid there. So let's listen to our drums. We can convert this into the MIDI region and separate this by no pitch. Now apply some processing there if we want to just make it a bit more crunchier. You don't have to process, I find, samples too much because they're already so processed. But you can do some EQ and stuff like that. Now I'd go here and make a bass line. Go in and quantize this and just keep rolling the ideas out. I don't know if I played all the right notes. I don't think I did. And when you have put more ideas down in your session, you might not even need the guitar anymore. It was just a stepping stone to get somewhere else. So don't always think like, oh, I'm like ripping off someone's idea of a splice loop and, it's so fake. Sometimes it's just a stepping stone to get to a cool idea that you're going to make yourself. So I wouldn't consider this being like any sort of like cheap way to do it. Sometimes you just need these stepping stones. So then I would continue building up the song, and then I would go back into Splice, and I would get outside of the lo-fi packs when it comes to maybe more percussive stuff I need, or transition stuff, sweeps, a little ear candy and things like that. I would go outside of the pack if I couldn't find it in the pack. So let's say you want like a little transition sample here. You could just go and type in transitions. When you find a sample you like, download it, come back here to Logic, open up Splice, it will be at the top. Drag it in, open up your transition, line it up to where you want it to be. Let's say it's at bar 17. and mix it in. That kind of works actually. Then you have your transition. I don't mind working with audio when it comes to all these samples and stuff. I like working with MIDI when it comes to drums because I'm not always sold on the kicks and snares that I choose. So if I'm through the production, I'm still getting ideas out, I want to make sure that I have the flexibility to just load in a new sample quickly. Like I can go open up the drum machine designer and then I can just choose a brand new kick and replace it with that one. So that was the one we used, but let's say I want this tape kick. Then I go over here and just replace it. And now I have that new sample in and it's got the same pattern there and I'm good to go. If you did it with audio and you, like let's say this was a kick here, this cashmere thing, you know, and you made your kick sample and these are all kicks and you know, you did your whole thing there, blah, 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 that's terrible. But then if you want to get a new kick, you have to delete all those, bring the new kick in, and yeah, you know what I mean. Very cumbersome. So that's why I like working with MIDI. This is how I leverage Splice to make songs from scratch, to use Splice as an inspiration and my workflow with Splice. Let me know what you think in a comment and feel free to subscribe, guys. I'm Charles Klein. I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm just making music like you guys are. So feel free to check mine out if you're interested. But also, more importantly, I hope to see you in the next video.